Good afternoon, Ajahn.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Let us now pay respect to Ajahn by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. To begin with the chanting, we invite Ajahn to lead us in the chanting, please.
Okay, so we start with the Buddha verse on loving kindness. Now let us chant the Buddha verse on loving kindness. Karaniya matha kusalena yantang santang patang abhisameja sakko uchu ja suhuchu ja suwajo ja samutu anatimani santu sakko ja suparo ja appakicco ja sallahukavuti santintriyo ja nipako ja appakappo kulesu ananukitoนาจะคุดทั้งสมาจเรกินจิเยนะวินยูปะเรอุปวัฏเทยงสุขิโนวาเคมิโนโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาภวันตุสุขิตาตาเยเกจิปานปูตาทิตสาวาทาวราวาอนาวเสสาจิขาวาเยมหันตาวามาชิมาราสกาอนุกัทุราทิทาวาเยจะอทิทาเยจะทุเรวสันติอวิทุเรภูตาวาสัมภเวสีวาสัพเพสัตตาภวันตุสุขิตาตานัปปโรปรังนิโกเพทนันติมัญเยทกัตถจินังคินติปยาโรสนาปฏิฆสัญญานันยมัญญาสทุกขมิจเฉยยมาตายธานิยังปุตตังอายุสาเอกปุตตมนุรักเขเอวัมปิสัพพปูเตสุมาณสัมภาวเยอปริมาณังเมตัญจะสัพพโลกัสมิงมาณสัมภาวเยอปริมาณังปุถทังอโทจติริยัญจะอสัมภาทังอเวรังอสปาตังติทันจรังนิสินโนวายาวตัสสวิคตมิโทเอตังสติงอทิเทยพระมะเมตังวิหารังอิธมาหุทิทินจะอนุปคัมมาสีลาวาทัสเนนะสัมปันโนกาเมสุวินัยเคทังนะหิชาตุขัพพะเสยยังปุณเรติติ Now that the chant the Buddha was on loving kindness, this is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, or meeting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another, or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harms upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world. spreading outwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being free from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. หันธรรมยังอุทิศนาทิฏฐานาคาทายโยปนามาเสอิมินาปุญญกรรมเมนะอุปัชฌายาฟนุตตราอาจาริโยปการาจะมาตาปิตาจะยาตกาสุริโยจันทิมาราชาฟุณวันตานราปิจาพระมมาราจะอินทาจะโลกัปปาราจะเทวตายโมมิตามนุสสาจะมัชฌตาเวริกาปิจาสัพเพสัตตาสุขีโหนตุปุญญานิปกตานิเมสุขันจติวิทังเทนตุขิปังปาเปทโวมะตังอิมินาปุญญกรรมเมนะอิมินาอุทิเสนาจะขิปาหังสุรเพเจวตันหุปาทานาเชทนังเยสันตานิหินาธัมมายาวะนิพพานโตมะมังนาสันตุสัพพทาเยวะยัตถชาโตภเวภเวอุชุจิตังสติปัญญาสันเลโควิริยัมหินามาราณพันตุโนกาสังกาตุนจักวิริเยสุเมพุทธาธิปะวโรนาโทธัมโมนาโทวรุตตโมนาโทปัจเจกพุทโธจะสังโฆนาโทตโรมะมังเตโสตมานุภาเวนะมาโรกาสังละพันตุมา Now let us chant the verses of sharing and aspiration. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirit of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through these acts of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolves. The Buddha is my excellent refuge, unsurpassed is the protections of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. อันธรรมยังเมตตาภรนังกโรมาเสอาหังสุขิโตโหมินิทุกโขโหมิอเวโรโหมิอัพพยาปัจโชโหมิอานิโคโหมิสุขีอัตตานังปริหารามิสัพเพสัตตาสุขิตาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอเวราโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอัพพยาปัจฉาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอานิคาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาสุขีอัตตานังปริหารันตุสัพเพสัตตาสัพพทุกขาปมุญจันตุสัพเพสัตตาลัทธสัมปติโตมาวิคันชันตุสัพเพสัตตากรรมสกากรรมทายาทากรรมโยนิกรรมพันธุกรรมปฏิสารนา yang kamang karisanti kalayana wa papakang wa tasataya tha bhavisanti. Now let us chant the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intentions, all beings are the owners of their actions and inherit its results. Their future is born from such actions, companion to such actions, and its results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts, they will be the end. Okay, so now we do the death contemplation, Maranasati, for Ajahn Dton, senior monks from England who just passed away weeks ago. So we start with Pali first. Pavatati patulayaya sayusantati yakhayang parupamaya sampasang Pavaye maranasati maha sampatti sampatta yatha satta mata itha tatha ahang marissami maranang mammahesati upattiya sahevethang maranang akhatang satha maranathaya okasang vattako viya esati Isakang aniwattang tang sattatang kamanusukang chivitang uttaya attang suriyo viyathawati vichupupula ussawa chararachi parikhayang khatako vahriputasa sappathapi avariyo suya sattha punniti Putti vutti chinatvayang khatesi maranang kipang katumati sake katha paccayanan cawe kalaya pahirachattu pattava marah morang nime sapi maramano anukhananti. Meditation on death. Like a flame blown out of the wind, like a flame blown out by the wind, this life continuum goes to destruction. Recognizing one's similarities to others, one should develop mindfulness of death. Just as people who have achieved great success in the world have died, so too I must certainly die. Death is harassing me. Death always comes along together with birth, searching for an opportunity like a murderer out to kill, not the least bit stoppable, always going forward. Life rushes towards its end, like the rising sun to its setting, like lightning, a bubble, dewdrops, or a line drawn in the water. Life cannot last. Death is like a murderer after his fall, completely unrestrainable. Death slay those great in glory, in strength, merit, powers, and wisdom, and even the two kinds of conquerors. No need to speak about one like me. Due to a lack of the necessities of life, to some inner or outer misfortune. I, who am dying moment after moment, can die in the blink of an eye. Animitang ananyatang maccanang itthachiwitang kasiranca paritanca tanca tukkena sangyutang nahiso upakamo atti yena chatana miyare sarang pipattawa maranang ewang dhamma hipanino paranang miwapakkanang pato patanato payang ewang chatana maccanang niccang maranato payang yathapi kumpakarasa katamatika phashana sapphe pethana pariyanta ewang maccana chivitang thaharaja mahanta ca ye phala ye ca pantita sapphe maccu vasangyanti sapphe maccu parayana anicca sankhara upathavaya dhammino upacitawa nirucchanti te sangvupassamo sukho. The life of mortals is signless. Its length cannot be known in advance. It is difficult and limited and tied up with sufferings. There is no possibility that mortals shall not die. Having reached old age, they die. Such is the nature of living beings. As fruit, when ripe, has to fall. So our beings live constantly in the fear that they will die. As a potter earthen jars eventually must all break up, so too does the life of mortals eventually come to an end. The young and the old, the foolish and the wise, all move in the grips of death, and all finally end in death. Impermanence are all conditioned things, affected by rising and falling away. Having arisen, they then must cease. Wishful is it when they subside. Achirang vatayang kayo pataving atisesati chuttho apeta vinyano nirathang wakaring karang anappito tato akha nanunyato ito kato yatha kato tatha kato tathaka paritevana yatha pisela vipula napang ahacca pappata samanta anupariyayung nippo thenta jatuttisa ewang charaja maccu ca ativatanti panino khatiye brahmane vese sutte jantara pukkuse nakinci parivaccheti sappang ewa vimattati natattahattinang bhumi narathanang napattiya najapi manta yuttena sakka chetung sanena va tassamahi pantito poso sampassang mattamattano putte dhamme ca sankhe ca thiro sattang nivesaye yo dhammacari kayena vajaya uttacetasa itevanang pasangsanti peja sakhe pamotati. Before long, this body will lie, cast upon the ground, bereft of all consciousness, like a useless block of wood. Uninvited, he came here. Without lift, he departed. He went just as he came. So why lament? Like gigantic boulders, mountains reaching to the sky, moving in from all sides, crushing all into four directions. So aging and death come roaring over living beings. Noble warriors, priests, merchants, workers, outcasts, and scavengers, they spare nothing, they crush everything. Here, elephants can hold no ground, nor can chariots or infantry. One can't defeat them by a battle of spells or buy them off by means of wealth. So a wise person, seeing his own good, secures firm conviction in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. He who practiced the Dhamma in thought, word, and deed receives praise here on earth, and after death rejoice in heaven. Sadhu, sadhu.
With Ajahn for leading us in the chanting, we will now request for 3 refuge, 5 and 8 precepts together. We'll begin by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Mayan bante ti saranena saha atha pancha silani yachama dutiyampi mayam bante ti saranena saha atha pancha silani yachama tatiyampi mayam bante ti saranena saha atha pancha silani yachama.
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
พุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
พุทธังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
สังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
สังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิพุทธังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิสังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิพุทธังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิสังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
สรณคัมมนังนิธิตัง
ธัมมาบันเต
ปานาติปาตาเวระมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
ปานาธิปาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อทินนาทานาเวระมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อดินนาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กาเมสมิชาจาราเวระมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กามิสุมิชาจารังเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
มุสาวาทาเวระมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
มุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
สุราเมรยมัชฌปมาทฐานาเวระมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
สุราเมรยามัจจาปมาทฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
Now for the 8th preceptor อภรรมจาริยาเวระมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อับราฟมจาริยาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
ติ ปิกาลโภชนาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
วิกาลโภชนะเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
นัจจคีตะวาทิตะวิสุปทัสสนามาลาคันทะวิเลปนะธารณะมันดนะวิภูสนัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
นาชากิตาวาริตาวิสุขาดัสสนามาลากันดาวิเลปนะดารณามันดนาวิบุสนาธานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
อุจจาสยนะมหาสยนาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
อุจจาสยนะมหาสยนาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
อิมานิปัญจอัฏฐสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิ
อิมานิอาทาสิกขาปะทานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอาทาสิกขาปะทานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอาทาสิกขาปะทานิสมาธิยามิ
สีเลนะสุขติยันติสีเลนะโภคสัมปทาสีเลนะนิพพุติยันติตัสมาสีลังวิโสทะเย
สาธุสาธุสาธุ Let us bow 3 times again. Let's bow. Second bow. Third bow. We now formally request for the Dhamma Talk.
Brahma Jaloka Hikpati Sahang Pakti Kahatan Jarian Hikwagrahang Ayajatan Santi Taksakta Pabrajahakakjaktikaเอเสทุทังมังอนุกังปิมังปัจจัง
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังนะมัสสามิ Okay, so we finished the rainy seasons. I think it's 2 days ago, right? The end of the rainy season, and starting the cold season, which is not cold yet, which is very hot, and the rainy season has stopped, and in Pali is considered the last month of the year. It's number 12. So we call it a full moon of the 12th month. And we have this called the Krathong festival. We making the light candle and we floating in the river to ask forgiveness from the river, the goddess Kanga, which is the goddess river. But that probably the traditions that we do before we get into Buddhism. It's a festival that say people already make harvest of the rice, and now the full moon is very bright sky, and getting together, and usually we use the occasion for do the merit and feed the poor and all those things, and then because that day is a special day because the water will be very high, because after the rainy season, the water level will be reached very high. Any near the river will come down and do some celebration festival, and so the stories go that they want to make kind of gratitude toward the nature, which is the river. The river give life to especially the cultural the culture country, agricultural, like in Thailand. We depend on a lot on the rainwater and the river. And see, in the old day, they didn't look at the river like a resource where we could go in and then exploit and then get all these things, building the dam, get the electricity or things like that. We just look at it like the nature, and the nature has kind of qualities, the thing that almost you give life into the nature itself. Even the river have the goddess river. You can call it the symbolizations of the nature into something that tangible. So you can pay respect to. I think it's very lovely traditions. You're not. I think these days when we look at nature, sometimes we use the scientific perspective. You end up with how many water, how many cubic feet of water, how much you're gonna get out of it, how much it can basically have the field and the rice, paddy field of this amount of water. But in the old day, they didn't think into this term. They think in terms of the goddess, the mercy of the nature who give us life. And because of that, then we have the day for it, for the goddess. So we come and we pay respect to that aspect. But when Thailand, when we adopt Buddhism as our religions of the country, then the concept kind of reinterpret into we worship not the water, not the river goddess, but to the Buddha footprints. They have a belief that one time the Buddha visit the monks who live in the foreign land, and on the way back, the Naga, the big serpent kings, invite him to visit the underground, the mansion where the Naga live underneath the water. And before the Buddha leave, he asked the Buddha, can you give us something to remember you? And then the Buddha made the impression of his footprint. It's called Nammatha. Nammatha is the name of the river where the Buddha leave his footprints. So because we are Buddhist, so we rather than worship the Hindu goddess, we change into worship the footprint of the Buddha. So yeah, it's also nice. So like in Buddhist, every festival we try to find occasion to do the merit, and it happened to be full moon. The river is very beautiful. People come out rejoicing in the good harvest, and then not only we thank the river to give us life, but we also thank about the Buddha of the remembering of his footprint, his basically his path that we follow. So we use that occasion to pay respect to the Buddha footprints, and we have the saying that this light and candle and the flower, and usually we use the natural material, like the banana trunk, and you can cut it, so it's not have a problem with the water. If you use foam and plastic, then it's a lot of garbage left over. But now we use this banana trunk, and this day we use the bread. We bake the bread, so it's also we become the fish food as well. So it's very nice to see that we make into the different the fish and the turtle and different form of bread, and then we put the candle on top and the flower, and then we float it on the river, which is very nice, and it's also natural friendly, also feed the river. This year it's a lot of fish because of the flooding, so we also, our monastery is happen to, on that day we be able to go back to the raft, and then be able to conduct this ceremony. We just clean, this past month we just do a lot of cleaning basically, slowly. So the water is still high. It's about one meter above the regular usual level, but it's low enough that we can do the activities. And most of the kuti or the hut by the river are clearing now. So we think that we need to clear up, scrubbing all those stain and then moving things around. And all you see the back here, I just finished it this morning. Put all those things back on, and because I put everything on top. So just to have enough to be able to do it here. So I haven't moved back to my kuti yet, because the water is not, it's no running water here yet. My big tank, the water tank, has been floating away because of the water is so high, and it just with all those tube and everything, all the system with the tank is all gone. So yeah, that's why we don't have the water, but we have electricity at least. They just able to put a lot of poles come down, but we're able to connect the electricity. So just enough to do it. Okay, so we were able to do the ceremony yesterday. So we use that to commemorate the Buddha footprint. And then the second one is a Dhamma. What Dhamma that the Buddha give on the full moon of the 12th month? Anybody know? It's called Anapanasati Sutta. Have you ever chanted the Anapanasati Sutta? Actually, we should chant it. I forgot. Maybe next time. We also chant that in full as well. It's very beautiful. It's about half an hour in Pali, but then if you translate, it's about 1 hour altogether. It's a full length, expanding on the Anapanasati, the breathing meditation. That's 16 steps of the breathing, that step by step. Before the Buddha times, there might be some kind of breathing meditation, but it's not 16 steps like the Buddha gave us. It may be only first 2 or 3 at the most, and it's also used in terms of samatha, for cooling the mind, not to have the mind focus on one thing. But the Buddha is the one who expand upon this and then make it into 16 steps. So he has the first 4, the tetrad, is about the body, the breathing in, that you're breathing in, breathing out, that you're breathing out, breathing in long, breathing out long, that you're breathing in and out long, breathing in short, breathing out short, that you're breathing in and out short. And then you are able to pay attention to the breathing through the process of beginning, middle, and the end, both in and out. And then you learn to pacify the breathing body. So basically, this is the exercise where you learn how to breathe in such a way that cooling the breathing. So this is the first 4 steps of breathing meditation that the Buddha gave. And then the next 4 is about the feelings, the contemplate on the piti, the joy. When your mind is stay on the breathing all along through the process, beginning, middle, and the end, doesn't have any distraction, very focused. And then you're able to pacify the breath, the body fabrication or the body sankhara, the formation of the body, then the joy arises. So you contemplate on joy, and then this happiness arises. The joy is a little bit more active and more restless. It's not like happiness. Happiness is sukha. Happiness is more subtle. So you contemplate on the happiness, and then with that you contemplate on the citta sankhara. The citta sankhara is the construction of the mind, which is the perception and feeling, sanya and vedana. So you contemplate on that, and then you pacify the citta sankhara. So this is very parallel with the first one. The first one, you pacify the kaya sankhara, the body formation. This one, this third, you pacify the citta sankhara, the mind, formation of the mind. Then that's the second tetra. Then now you're able to grasp on the mind now, because you know the condition of the mind, the formation of the mind. So the third one, the third tetra, you start with the mind. You're able to know what the mind is, and then you're able to learn how to delight, the apipamotayang, delight in the mind, in and out, and then stable on focus and concentration, the mind, learn how to make it concentrate, and then release, able to release the mind. So this is another four. This belong to the mind contemplation. And the last four is Dhamma. So you start with the impermanence, anicca, breathing in and out, that is have a nature arising and passing away. And then viraka, detachment, you not attached to it, and then nirodha, succeed, and then patinisakha, returning to the nature. So that's the last four. So I mean, you can go back and then read the Anapanasati. I'm sure you're able to find it. Maybe I can chant it next time. It's 16 step of the breathing contemplation, which is good for you to memorize it, and in Pali and in English, and have a little bit of understanding of what the Buddha is getting at, why you have to use that step, all the way down to the 16. So this is the genius of the Buddha. All the Buddha used this breathing contemplation to attain jhana. See, when the Buddha find the path toward enlightenment, first he got this jhana since he was 7 years old, when he go to his father ceremony of plowing the field. He was a prince there. There's a lot of maid who taking care of him. But when the ceremony started, they all left him. So he able to be by himself, and he able to sit peacefully, and he get into this, probably the first jhana. And he come out of that, but he didn't think about that as a path, because he's so happy. Because at that time, the real seeker thinking that happiness is something to avoid. You have to torturing yourself, basically, in order to get into enlightenment. You can't get to the happy path. You have to go to the suffering path. So that's why he with the 5 ascetics helping him with the fasting, sleep on the throne, and then taking a bath when it's cold, standing in the hot when it's with the sun, basically try to torment the body. But in the end, he's almost died because of that. And then he think, oh, maybe the path is in that happiness that he was early on when he was 7 years old. and he got first jhana. So he go back to that state. But now, because he's more experienced now, he's able to go to from first jhana up to the fourth jhana. Basically, he go to this process, and he come out of that, and he used the factor of jhana, which is the piti, sukha. When you come out of jhana, the piti, the joy is a prominent one. It's something that it have a characteristic that you can't miss, because when you have joy, you really clear that now it's a joy, and then now the joy is kind of fading away. So you use factor of jhana, which is joy, as your object of meditation, and you see that even that is also arising and passing away. So basically, you use the factor of jhana as the object of your vipassana. You take that on the seeing thing arising and passing away, and then he contemplate on itappacayata, the co-arisings, the avijja paccaya sankhara, when ignorance arise and the mental formation, sankhara paccaya vijnana, when mental formation arise, consciousness arise, and vijnana paccaya nama rupang, when consciousness arise, the mind and material complex arise, which is what we call our body. And then it's go, all those 12 links of dependent origination. So that how the Buddha get enlightened. This is the path. Basically, all the Buddha will do this. Use the breathing as at the first step, and then come out of that, contemplate on the paticca the dependent co-arisings, and then he see the arising of because of this condition, and then when the condition cease to be, then the result is not there. So this is how he get enlightened under the Bodhi tree. So so this is why it's very important, meditation. And most of the people these days, when they teach meditation, they will teach the breathing meditation, but usually we didn't teach the sutta. We just teach by the experience. So it's good to go back and then read the sutta in detail, so you have some word of the Buddha. What is he really practice, and what is he recommend in his own word. So it's 16 steps. So I recommend that you go back and read that. Okay, so this is the day that the Buddha give this sermon, this anapanasati. On that special day, on that year, it's quite late in the Buddha times. The Buddha stay in Buparam, where the Visakha give his monastery to the Buddha, offering it to him. So the Buddha stay in this Buparam, and at the end of the 11th month, which is we call the Pavarana, where the monks invite to give criticism to each other before everybody go their own way. The Buddha noticed that all the monks are practicing very well. That year, a lot of very famous monks basically stayed the Vasa together. The Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Mokkallana, Venerable Kassapa, Venerable Anuruddha, Junta, and Ananda, many people, Mahakappina. So all the famous, almost like 10 of them stay. Each of them also teach a big group of monks. Some giving 10, some giving instruction to 20, some giving instruction to 30, some up to 40 monks. So you have a picture of the monk gathering together and under the instruction of very famous monks. So by the end of this Vasa, 3 months, the Buddha decided, because the monks are practicing well, so he decided to extend 1 more month of rain. Basically, he doesn't do the Pavarana invitation. He leave it. He said, okay, wait, not doing that today. So we give you another benefit of 1 more month. So the monks stay on for one more month, and they learn a lot more. And then the word spreading that, okay, the Buddha will stay one more month, from the full moon of the 11th month to this day, full moon of the 12th month. During that month, so they do a lot of intensive practice. Some are Arahant, some are Anakami, some are Sakatakami, some are Sotapanna. So there are different levels of enlightenment. And some practicing Brahmavihara, some practicing Asupa, some practicing Potipakaya Dhamma, all those 37 steps. And then the last category is the one who practicing breathing meditation, Anapanasati. So the Buddha gives this kind of overview of, okay, this group of monks is very special. It's worth of the, that's why people are coming from all direction, carrying the food, carrying the requisite to offer to this group of monks. This is the best field of merit that anybody can get. So all the people gathering on this special day, and this night the Buddha gives this sermon, the 16th step of the Anapanasati. And then he also go on explain how do you practice this 16th step? How is it linked to 4 foundation of mindfulness? And then how when you practice 4 foundation of mindfulness, you perfect the 7 factor of enlightenment. And when you perfect 7 factor of enlightenment, then the knowledge and release, Vichara and Vimut was there, basically. So he explained the whole thing from the beginning to the end, how you can attain the Makkapala, attain the release from the suffering. So that's why that this day is very important. So we also remember of this sermon of this Anapanasati Sutta. Okay, so that's the Dhamma, and the Sangha is the Sariputta. The full moon of the 12th month is the day that Sariputta passed away. So Sariputta, he's a right hand of the Buddha, and he has many good quality. Okay, he also excel in wisdom. He's only second to the Buddha. So that means that if you not count the Buddha, he has the most wisdom. He's the one who teach us Abhidhamma, because what the Buddha give in heaven, when the Buddha go up to heaven to teach his mother who passed away, then he come down to earth every morning to have the meal. So the Sariputta meet him, and the Buddha give him the short version of what he teach in heaven, and the Sariputta learn from him and then expound on him. So Abhidhamma that we have is basically from Sariputta, who get the from the Buddha and expound and teach 500 disciples, and they all get enlightened. So Sariputta is excel in wisdom, and we very in depth of him of Abhidhamma that we have, and he also excel in the gratitude, Katanyu. Sariputta, when he before he's ordained, he meet with the monks called Asachi. Asachi is the last one of the 5 ascetics who are attending the Buddha when the Buddha practiced the mortification of himself. Asachi was the last one of these 5 ascetics. So he got the first batch of Arahant. So Sariputta, at that time, he was basically he hasn't ordained. He was Upatissa. His name was Upatissa. He met the Asachi. Asachi was walking Pittabhata, very restrained, composed, look down, very focused. So he know that he must attain very high attainment. So he followed Asachi, and when Asachi about to eat, he offering his bench and clean his hand. And when the Asachi eat his bowl, his from his bowl, finish his bowl, he come and then he asks him, who is your teacher? What is the Dhamma? And Asachi give him very short stanza. We call it the heart of Buddhism. In Pali, it's called Ye Dhamma Hetu Papava, meaning that the Buddha he teach the suffering and the cause of suffering and the end of suffering. Basically, this is what the Buddha have. So this is the Four Noble Truths in the short stanza. So Sariputta, because he has very sharp mind, just this short stanza, he able to get stream enterer. He becomes stream enterer. So he later on, when he become Arahant, he still remember of this day, the day he encountered Asachi. And every time before he sleep, he will find out which direction that Asachi stay. And he will always turn his head on that direction before he sleep. So all his friends say, okay, Sariputta is maybe he attached to very rituals that is not supposed, Arahant not supposed to do this. So the Buddha asked him, okay, Sariputta, is it true that you always find the direction and then you sleep toward that direction? And the Buddha asked him, why you do this? Sariputta said, because I have a lot of gratitude to my teacher, Asachi. So he always remembered. See, I think this is a sign of the intelligence one. The one with intelligence will be feel a lot of gratitude to the first one who bring you to the Dhamma. Because if you don't have that person, you might take a long time to go to the Dhamma. So that's why Sariputta is very, you have a lot of gratitude to the one who introduced him to the Dhamma. And also on the next occasion, there was a Brahmin, his name is Radha, and he was when he get old, he come to the monastery to help out to the monastery. He want to get ordained as a monk, but nobody want to ordain him because he's too old. See, when you ordain somebody, there has some commitment. You have to take care of that particular person. And if that person is already old, nobody want to, or maybe you shouldn't ordain him because they don't want to be a burden on them. So the Buddha asked the Sangha to come and they said, okay, who remember this Radha? And Sariputta said, yeah, I remember him. He used to offer me one spoonful of rice. Yeah. So, and the Buddha said, so what would you do to him? Sariputta said, yeah, I'm waiting to be his upachaya, waiting to ordain him. So Radha, who ordained when he was old, ordained under Sariputta. So Sariputta take him away for Tudongka basically, because if you ordain so late in life, if you stay in the big monastery, you'll be end in line, you'll be the last one. It's probably difficult for you to practice. So he take him out away for a long walk and be able to live close by, and Radha turned out to be very humble. He received every instruction that Sariputta gave him. So not long he become enlightened. He become Arahant. So after he become enlightened, he come back, and then the Buddha asked Sariputta, "How is your student? How is your Radha? Is he?" Normally when you ordain, difficult. They always say, "Oh, he knows. Sometimes you know a lot more than a monk." But the Radha is totally different. He very receptive, so he learned everything from Sariputta, and he himself become enlightened. And Sariputta said, "Oh, Radha is actually he was excellence in listening. They call suvajo, being easy to talk to, being receptive, able to learn and to adapt and to follow the instruction very well." So Sariputta said, "Yeah, if I have a good student like Radha, not only 1 or 10 or even 100, I can handle that." So the Buddha said, "Excellent, excellent, Sariputta." So this is like an example of the one who want to ordain when they old age. They have to be follow the instruction. It seems to be tendency for people to ordain at the old age not to listen too much. They have their own way of doing things, and so this is a very good example. So you can see the Sariputta is very have a lot of gratitude. Even somebody give him one spoonful of rice, he remembered that, and he pay back a lot, even more. He ordained that person, train them until they become arahant. And then Sariputta, before he passed away, he want to go back to help his mother, because his mother has 7 kids, son and daughter. All of them ordained and become arahant, but she didn't know that. She hold the grudge to the Buddha because he said, because she has devolved Hindu, she devoted to the Brahma, and she thinks this is the chief monks and nuns stole son and daughter from her. So Sariputta want to go back and help his mother. So at the he go back, and the mother said, "Oh, maybe my son want to disrobe or something." He come back, but too late. But he anyway, she set up the Sariputta in his room. Sariputta at that time he got very ill. He go back to his room, and in the early watch of the night, the god of 4 direction come and then take care of him, upatak him. So the mother said, "Oh, what the light?" Sariputta said, "This is the god of 4 direction." And the mother is very excited. "Oh, you are so famous that all these god come to take care of you?" And Sariputta said, "Yes." And then the second watch of the night, then the Indra, the Sakka come. The light is even more brighter. And then the mother come and the Sariputta explain. And then the last watch of the night, the Mahabrahma come, all very bright. And then the mother said, "Oh, my son must be very famous. Even the Mahabrahma, the highest one in Hindu, they come and pay respect to my son." So she changed her perspective. Maybe my son knows something that Mahabrahma didn't know. So she said, "Okay, so please teach me then." So Sariputta able to teach his mother when she opened up, and then she able to get the Sotapanna, the stream enter. So you can see and then Sariputta, after teach the mother, he passed away in his room. So this is why this is the day that we in memory of Venerable Sariputta, who have excellent in grateful. In Pali it's called Katanyuta, to be grateful. So somebody said this is the grateful day. So we use that occasion to think about who is good to us, and the cause and condition for us to be in Dhamma, or your parents or whoever, your spiritual teacher, whoever, and then you use that to with these candles, incense, you also worship that. So rather than only the river goddess, we worship the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And the Buddha is a Buddha footprint. The Dhamma is Anapanasati Sutta, and the Sangha is Venerable Sariputta. And so this is the triple gem, so that we celebrate on this particular day. So that was the full moon of the 12 month. So like I said, this is number 12. That means in this system of counting, that will be the last day of the year as well, because the next month will be the first month. So somehow, we count the year starting from this is the end of the year. So it's also good to memorize, reflect upon what's going on in the past year, and then anything that we can improve, and then ready for the next year, the new years, going up to the new years. And actually, in in English, the word November is from the word Nawa, mean 9, and also mean new as well. Nawa mean new, the same. The Latin and Pali is very close connection. So you have a sense of this is the new, at the beginning. Actually, whatever new is called the Nawa Lokutara Dhamma, the supramundane is new. If you want anything new, it means you have to attain the Makkapala and Nibbana. Everything else is just old because it's all samsara. Just go back to the circle. If you want to step out of that is real new. So it's also symbolized of that stepping forward, stepping to the Lokutara, to the supramundane, something beyond the world, something transcends the world. So we let go of this cycle of repeatedness, of this paticca, the cycle of ignorance, mental formation, consciousness, all these linked into this suffering at the end, into this stopping of this cycle, stepping out from this thing, attain the Nibbana. So we can use that in that sense as well. So that also the day that we happen to be passing away of the senior monks in our traditions, Ajahn Dton, his name Kanta mean fragrance, Sila mean morality. So the morality the Buddha compared to the fragrance of the flower. It even go against the wind. It go higher to the Deva, to the God as well. And so his name is basically the emphasis on the Sila. So Venerable Gandasilo, he was English monk. He was born, Ajahn Chiasaro said, very close to his place near London, and about the same age as Ajahn Chiasaro. And he has some problem with his ear. He couldn't hear very well. That's why he liked seclusion. I guess when you couldn't hear well, you'll be more with yourself. When he get into Dhamma, he very nature loving, but he has some problem with his lung as well. He's maybe some weakness of his lung, and so he spends early year training in Amaravati in England, and in the last few years, 6 or 7 years, he moved to Thailand and he stayed in this Korat. He's a very diligent gardener. He plant a lot of trees. He very in nature. But because he has his lung problem, he got difficulty in breathing sometimes. At night, he always walking, meditation. And just the week before, he would have some difficulty in breathing. And he passed away at the age of 63, about 33 vasa. So he was the monk for 33 years. So he able to die in robes, in the yellow robes. And Ajahn Chiasaro also he gave a talk on his funeral. He mentioned that he meet with these monks early and he know these monks, and he really have a lot of respect for the monk who can die in robe. He remember early day he was going to the Dhamma Talk, and some senior monk said, I wish you die in robes. And at that time he said, well, it doesn't seem to be anything special, why don't you give a blessing that may you attain Makkapala or Nibbana, something like that. Why you say, okay, to die in robe, it seemed to be very, very low. But afterwards he realized that actually it's difficult to stay in robes. Many people disrobe in between. And as a matter of fact, even in Thailand, not many monks get enlightened. So, and then Ajahn said it would be fair to say that the fact that we have Buddhism still exists in Thailand up to this day maybe because of the monk who get enlightened, but maybe because of the monk who commit themselves to die in robes, you know. And because sometimes when you practice up to this certain level, it might be, you might know yourself how far can you go, you know. But if you have faith and if you commit yourself, okay, come what may, I'm not going to lose robe, I'm not going to stay in robe. You know, of course you have to keep the sila and all those things. But because of the people like that, who have faith and who dedicate their whole life to become a monk, who die in robe, that actually the one who keep the sasana, keep the teaching of the Buddha ongoing, you know. Because people who get enlightened, they might branch off in the forest somewhere, practicing very hard. We might not know about this person, might not. But the person who stay in the monastery, helping out, teaching, basically interacting with the lay people, making big shady, big stupa, giving all those dana, basically helping out, making hospital, making different things. You know, you can see that, you know, how this thing works. So it's a lot of people like that who have faith and dedicate their whole life to be a monk, to uphold this high standard of training. So Ajahn also said, yeah, he, after many years in the monk's robes, he realized that, yeah, it's not easy, you know, to be staying as a monk, and he really respects a lot of, you know, people who are able to die as a monk. I think it's like the hero, the warrior who want to die in the battle. You know, you kind of fight until the end. In the same way as a monk, you know, maybe you might not be able to win the war, but at least in the battle you are fight to the last. You know, you die standing, you die fighting. You know. So yeah, like Ajahn Dton, he was practicing up to his last day. He's very diligent. At night he walking jongtom and meditate. You know, so that he fights his battle, and you know, so we have a lot of gratitude to him, and in memory to this sangha. You know, he set up the example of the monk who are able to practice and keep the sila, keep the standard, and his name is all Kanta Silo, the fragrance, the reputation of his good sila is spread far in different direction in all the, you know, back to England or even in Thailand. A lot of monks come to commemorate his pass away, and you know, so we do some chanting in his memory as well. So this is another example of the sangha. So we can include that into the Krathong festival. And we this candle and incense. And okay, so even now we are a few days away from that day, but we still able to memorize in his name and do some chanting, you know, with contemplation on death and all other things. So that is I think it's kind of, it's kind of up to date on today. There's so many things going on. It's a Katina festival, you know, many places. I didn't go much because I have to stay up and clean things. I didn't go to the Wat Pananachat Katina, but I went to Ajahn Dton Katina. Just coming back from Ajahn Dton, it's always very big gathering, a lot of people coming. Katina is a time for you as a monk to travel around and visit different places, and keep in touch with a lot of other monks. Kind of nice to, it's almost like a reunions in a way. You go back and you see how different monks, your friends, were training together, how are they going. So get some kind of, yeah, also in a way it's also kind of contemplation on old age as well, you know, because you are seeing your friend and some of them are getting old now, white hair, getting more shabby, more Ajahn like. So kind of nice to see that. So and then you have a chance to look back at yourself as well. Also get together as well, and you can see the conversation also change. When you are young, usually talk about which monastery is about the food, about the robes, how to make the good bowl stand and all those things. But then when you get older, you talk about the medicine, where it's a good place for acupuncture, for this and that. So the conversation also different. It depends on what. And then if you become the abbot, then talking about the construction, the building, the sala, the main hall, the Bodhisattva hall, the kind of Buddha Rupa, which one is nice to be put in the Bodhisattva hall. So that kind of a nice way of getting together with all the monks and able to pay respect to Ajahn Dton and able to join the Kathina in that sense. So that all in the last month of the rainy season. So now we enter the cold season, usually the season where the monks doing some tudong walking. So the weather is cooling down now, the breezing, the wind come, and it's good time for monks to walk and able to get the experience. Usually that's how we keep the new monks. Usually they want to disrobe, so we say, okay, stay on, and we take you to do some walking. And after walking, maybe you stay on until Ajahn Cha Ngan on the January. They stay on, and then you stay on and help with the summer novice ordination, and they stay on. And before long, it's the next Vasa now. You stay on another years. So sometimes we got a monk who able to stay on with that kind of. If they're not hurry to go out, then maybe they can find the happiness and life as a bhikkhu, as a monk, is worthwhile living. It's one way of monks which kind of take a joy in learning about yourself. How much did you need for survive? How much food do you need to eat? And meditate and learning about the teaching of the Buddha. So I think this is the best lifestyle and the best life that the Buddha set up, very perfect for meditation, for study about yourself, and for many reasons. That's why we are celebrate the Sangha, and we want to be part of that. So it's very lucky that we have that institution, the Sangha, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, still survive up to this day. We have 2,600 years from the Buddha is still up and going, and people still talking about what the Buddha teach, what the breathing meditation is, and what is the meaning of that, and to put that into practice. So this is a very miracle, I would say, that we still have that opportunity to know the true teaching of the Buddha. So I hope that you are having the night vasa, and then the next phase in Pali, that will be the next. This is the starting of the new year. And you also progress in the Dhamma. We grow old, everybody, and hopefully we grow up as well. And your quality should be up as well. Your sila, samadhi, and panya, this have to be higher than the last year. That means you progress toward the path. So anything that you are not able to let go, maybe you older, you are maybe more easy to let go, because who know how many days, how many months that we have. It's better to let go before it comes anyway. So nothing belongs to us in the first place. So we might as well letting go first, and then see how light it is not to have to carry everything. Just enough for us to go by and then spend more time studying, meditate, and learning about the teaching of the Buddha, and put that into practice. That's the best that you can, or whatever time that we have left. So I hope you all good luck for this practice with a new phase of after the rain, and also stay safe and live a life of student as long as possible, and make well use of your time until the end comes. So whatever that might be, and not to regret afterward that I should do this and that. Why I didn't do that? So we should put that in mind. What is real important? What is not important? The thing that important, you have to put that priority. I think when you get older, your priority have to be clear. What is the most important thing that you want to achieve? What will be regret if you look back from your deathbed? I didn't do that. So keep that in mind, and hope you have the New Year's of the prosperous and progress in the Dhamma. Okay, so I think that will be enough for this session.
Andamayang Dhamma Kataya Sadhu Karang Dadamase Sadhu 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 Anumodami. Thank you, Ajahn, once again for your very encouraging and inspiring stories about the significance of the 12th lunar month of the year, stories about the Buddha's footprint, significance of the Anapanasati Sutta, and passing on of Venerable Sariputta. We also want to wish Ajahn and the monastery safe. We hope that the flood situation will continue to recede, and then the full restoration work of the monastery can continue, and hopefully Ajahn can also stay back in your own kuti soon. Thank you, Ajahn. Brothers and sisters, let us now pay respect to Ajahn by showing our gratitude. Ajahn. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. We will now invite Ajahn to lead us in the closing homage, please.
Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivateni Sawakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami.
Once again, thank you, Ajahn. Ajahn stay safe and well. See Ajahn again 2 weeks from now on the 25th of November.
Okay, until then.
Thank you, Ajahn.